Okay, so now I'm just going to trim our columns that we just pasted on split. But first I just want you to, in our description tab, so you can just highlight it, right click and insert, and it's going to just insert a new column to the left hand side. And what we need to do is just copy the show ID across. So if you just hold Control Shift and down and Control and C, or you can right click and copy it all. We'll just paste it in. So you can just right click, paste values, or just paste. So now we've just created a relationship between the descriptions tab and the titles tab, and they can be joined together. Once we import it into MySQL Workbench, they can be joined on the season or show ID. Okay, so next we were going to trim. We'll start with our cast. So we're going to do this in a new sheet again. So if you just click the plus icon, and we'll just rename it cast. So I just want to quickly go over what the trim calculation does. So it removes unwanted blank spaces from a cell without removing spaces in between the words. So it's quite a simple calculation. You just enter equals trim, open brackets, and then we enter our cell number and then close brackets. Okay, so back in our cast tab, what we're going to do in cell B1, we're just going to click into it and start entering our formula, which is equals trim. So you can see it comes up as an option, and then Excel will tell us what the formula is, which is just the text value that we want to trim. So if we click into our Netflix titles sheet and then go up to we'll do it straight from cast 1. So you just click into the cell and then you can close the brackets and hit enter. You'll see that it copies cast 1 across. So now we want to copy everything right from cast 1 to cast 50 down to the bottom row. So we can find our bottom row by going back to Netflix titles. We'll scroll down and we'll see it's number 8808. So now what we can do is, while ensuring cell B1 is highlighted, we click into the name box and we just change this to B8808, and then while holding in shift we hit enter, and that will bring us down to B8808. Then without doing anything, we select F2 on our keyboard and it will bring us back up, and now it's brought us into the calculation. So now while holding control you can just hit enter and it's going to autofill everything, and it will take into account the blanks. So it will just leave them blank, but now you can see everything is trimmed. There is no leading blank before or after. So now what we can do, we'll go back to cell B1 and we'll just, while holding control and shift, we'll click down. Then we can copy everything across. So you don't need to hold anything in your keyboard. We'll just hover over the bottom right corner of the cell until the arrow changes, and then we'll drag it across. So we know there are 50 cast members in the longest movie, so the movie with the most cast members. So we'll just drag this across. It would be AY. And then if you scroll up, you can see that would bring us to cast 50. But we can actually just trim all our rows now. So if we scroll up in our Netflix titles sheet, we can go across and do our directors, which will be 12, our countries, which will be 12, and our listed in. So that will be 27 more columns. So if we just click away and then go back into our cast 50 cell, hold control and shift and hit down on our keyboard to bring us to the bottom, we can just copy these across 27 more columns. So I think that would bring us to BZ. I'll just check. Okay, we need to go one more. CA. Okay, so now we have copied across all the text to columns that we did in the previous videos, and we have trimmed them. So from here, so now I wanted to leave cell A1, column A1 available to paste in our show IDs. So again, we'll just Control Shift and down and copy this, and we'll just bring it into column A1. And we're going to keep this as our cast. But first we'll just need to click into A1, Control Shift and End, so that we're copying every single cell. So they all still have the calculation equals trim, but we just want to paste them in as values. So you can hold Control and C just to copy every single cell. We'll go back up to cell A1, right click into it, and you'll see the option to paste the values. So if we click this, it's going to remove the calculation. Okay, so now just double click away. So now some show IDs don't have any cast, unfortunately, in this data set, but it is what we have to work with. But now we'll drag across to the right, and we can bring our directors and our countries into their own sheets. So let's just add a new sheet, and we'll rename it Directors, and we'll just cut all of these and paste them in to cell B1 again, and we'll do the same for, so again we just want to delete these. Do the same for country. And I'll just rename that sheet country. And list it in. Okay, and then I'll just paste them in. And I'll just delete these columns. Okay, so I'll just copy from our cast show ID again, and we'll just need to bring this into every sheet that we've just created. So now they're all related on show ID, all these sheets. All right. Okay, so the last thing we just need to do is to go back into our Netflix titles data, and we just need to delete the columns from cast 1 onwards because we don't need these anymore. We've got them all in their own sheets, and they're all related now on show ID. So just Control Shift and End will again bring us to the last cell, and we can just click delete. And now we only have these 7 columns in our Netflix title sheet. Okay, so that is it for trim. In the next video, we will go over some calculations in our Netflix titles data. So I'll see you in the next video.